Sometimes the most beautiful parts of our life happen when we stop rushing and simply allow the day to unfold. I have learned this slowly here in the village, where life does not move in a hurry, where the sun rises gently and the day begins without noise or pressure. When I first started paying attention to this way of life, I realized something very simple, yet very deep. And that is that the earth itself does not rush. The trees grow slowly, season after season, stretching towards the light without anxiety. Even the morning comes slowly. The sky changes little by little, from darkness to soft light. Village life teaches you these things without speaking, without forcing the lessons. It simply shows you. When you wake up here, the day does not demand that you run. It simply invites you to move with care. You step outside, you feel the air. You notice the quiet sounds of the birds, the soft movement of the wind, and something inside of you begins to settle. Then you realize that not everything in life must be rushed. Not every task must be done in panic. And not every moment must be filled with pressure. Sometimes a slower pace is not laziness. Sometimes it is simply wisdom. For example, harvesting cassava is not something you rush through. You bend down, you touch the soil, you pull gently, you walk patiently. And while you're doing that simple work, your mind begins to quiet down. Your heart begins to breathe again. Then you remember that life is not only about finishing tasks, it is also about experiencing the moment you are in. In the village, patience becomes a daily practice. For example, the farm or the garden teaches patience. The cooking teaches us patience. And even waiting for the rain teaches us patience. Of course, there are days when things do not go exactly as planned. Maybe you want to harvest something from the soil, but then the soil is harder than what you expected. Maybe the harvest might even take longer, and sometimes maybe the sun becomes so strong that you find it so difficult to walk or do anything in the farm or in your garden. But slowly you learn to accept the reading of the day, because when you look at it, there is actually nothing you can do to change nature. So all you have to do is to slow down and wait for nature to take its full course. At that point, you learn that forcing life only brings stress, but walking gently, allowing nature to take its full course, will bring you peace. And I think many of us are slowly rediscovering this truth. The world outside often tells us to move faster, to do more, to hurry up, to compete, just to prove something. But deep down inside, many hearts are already tired. Many people are longing for a quieter way to live, a way where your worth is not measured by how busy you are, a way where peace is not something you chase, but something you protect. Living at a slower pace does not mean you should stop working. Not at all. I mean, the work is still there. The farms and the gardens needs care also. The food still needs to be cooked, and the home, of course, still needs attention. But the difference is in the heart now. This time around, you walk calmly. You learn to breathe between tasks and you allow silence to exist. Then you stop fighting every moment. And somehow, when you slow down like this, you will begin to notice small blessings that were always there that you never saw before. The warmth of the sun on your skin, the smell of fresh earth, the satisfaction of pulling food from the ground, the quiet joy of knowing that your hands have done honest work. These small things begin to feel very, very big to you. And in those quiet moments, I often feel something deeper too. A gentle reminder that life itself is a gift. Even the one who created this earth understands the rhythm of rest and work. After all, even creation itself happened in days of work and a day of rest. That alone tells us something important. It tells us that rest is not weakness and that slowing down is not failure. Sometimes slowing down is simply returning to the way life was meant to be lived. And I'm still learning this. I am learning this every day at a time. Some days I feel the pressure to rush, to do more, to worry about tomorrow. But this village reminds me again and again to slow down, to breathe, and to trust the process. The plant will grow in its time, the harvest will come in its season, and the heart also needs its own gentle pace. Baba. So, if your life has been feeling rushed lately, if your days feel heavy and full of pressure, maybe this is your small reminder today. You do not need to rush through life. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to move with care. And this is to remind you that Sometimes the most productive thing a person can do is simply live peacefully. So I want us to share this prayer together. Let's say this together. Dear God, thank you for the gift of this day. Thank you for the work of our hands and the quiet lessons hidden in simple moments. Teach us to slow down. Teach our heart patience. Help us to walk through life with peace instead of pressure. And remind us that your timing is always good. Amen.